Hey y'all! Welcome once again to Monday Night Inking. I'm going to be redoing this Baby Yoda that I did not earlier this week, but last week. The sketch card I did, I'm redoing this one larger so that I can make a mini print out of it. My little postcard size prints that some of you have seen before. So I thought you all would enjoy watching this. Wow, people jumping right in. My goodness. I guess I should get started. How is everybody today? Everyone had a good one, hopefully? January is always so nice and quiet after the holidays, I find. Hard on the wallet, but, you know, nice and quiet. Can't win them all. I need to get music in the background here one of these days. I can't play it directly on my phone, and my laptop speakers are kind of busted, so I'm sort of at a loss. It's a good way to play music. But redoing this one has been fun. Let me finish this brow, and then I'll show you the original. I'm sure you all have seen it, though. It was on that reel that's popping off. So anyway, here is the original. And what I did was I printed it and scanned it out larger and re-penciled it to get more specific details for a larger version. And that way I can scale it down properly to be the postcard size print. You can't really scale this up because then it would lose resolution. But this, if you make it larger and scale it down, then it makes a perfectly good postcard print. We got a bunch of people. Well, welcome everybody. I'm going to keep working on the containment line of the head here. I've been working really hard on getting my containment line information in the pencils, not just leaving it for the inks, because that can change a lot about the piece if your line weight is different in the inks. But it depends on your style, if that's the sort of thing that's going to work for you. Let's keep that up. See, the line is going to be heaviest where it turns away from the light. That's why you got it heavy over here and lighter up in here. Arguably, you got a couple of light sources on this one, but I'm going to let the light be coming from this general area. Light coming from the top is usually a pretty safe bet. Go. Firehawks here, Joey Teeth. All my good ones. That might have gotten a little too heavy, but we can always come back to it. There we go. It's coming along. Firehawk says, good evening, Clara. Joey Teeth bought me a badge already. My goodness, you don't waste any time. Thank you very much. Always appreciated. Especially this time of year, like I was just saying. It's a little pinchy. Finish this, not get distracted by other things here. There we go. Nice fat line. That's nice. I'll worry about those later. Well, I gotta get this edge to to establish where the edge of this shadow goes. The fabric was fun because this is such a gnarly fabric. It's all nubbly and textural. But because of the light, we're going to want most of the texture and detail here. The light is going to wash it out a little bit. Comics with Bueller, hello. I'm reworking this sketch card commission I did earlier to a larger, higher resolution piece so that I can make one of my mini prints out of it. Oh, look at that. I just stamped ink everywhere. This is so light it comes off fairly easily, but it's still messy. I secretly resent it. And by secretly, I mean I tell the entire internet. Bueller says, hi, Clara. Hope you're doing good. I am doing good. Thank you. I hope you are as well. Hope you survived all the holidays well. Enjoyed your new year. All that good stuff. There we go. Getting some of that texture in there. Let's get some of these corner rounding nubbles. Again, the texture is a lot of what's going to show the shadow, so just sort of the roughness, the bumpiness of his weird alien skin. It's going to give us a lot of shape here. And it may not seem like a lot until we get that filled in, but just hang in there. It all comes together. Feather this out very slightly and then go heavy. That's the beauty of this tool. Man, I was getting some love for this tool today. Everyone was asking on the Baby Yoda sketch card reel what tool this was. So I finally just reposted my original Schwokro asks what kind of pen that is. Like I was just saying, this is the Zebra Feud double-sided brush pen. You can get on JetPens or Amazon. And if you look at my profile, the very top post is currently a post about how awesome this tool is and where you can get it. I've been getting a lot of questions about this one lately, and I recommend it highly. A couple people said it was now their favorite tool because they took my recommendation and tried it out. So that was very cool. Go. Comics with Bueller says, it's the eyes. Clara does the best eyes in the biz. I mean, this one is cheating because it's just an adorable little cute animal. But I do remember you having that insight for my my Red Bride cover as well. Well, I'm trying to do even better ones as I continue to learn. So hopefully, to whatever extent that's true now, hopefully it will continue to be true and become even truer. What was I doing there? Okay, this is a shape. Yeah, I have my pencils over here so I can see exactly what I meant. Sometimes the blue lines soften things out a little too much. And I use the sharpen tool in Photoshop to tighten everything up before printing in blue line, but even then they can get a little soft sometimes. So I just like to keep my references on hand, because I am an over-controlled artist. Starting to relax a bit, but it's a process. Let's see. Oh, Xanabon says, sorry, Clara, I am out at the moment, I believe, but keep up the good work. That's a good Grogu, by the way. Thank you. My grandma joined. Hello, Grandma. Glover says, perhaps it's the Zebra Pen Hour featuring special guest Clara Meath. I mean, I may as well just call it that at this point. I guess I don't always use this pen. Like, this is more my line art pen, and if there's solid blacks to fill in, I will be doing that with a different tool, just because I like these to last longer. They do wear out. I go through about one of these a month, which, considering that they're $8 each is pretty awesome. Go, that's coming along. My grandma likes the Baby Yoda. She thinks it's cute. Little hairs on the clothes. Well, I'll try to hold that off until later. That was compulsion. All right, what is that side of the ear? Oh, okay, I remember what I did. There we go. Andrew J. Brown. Hello, Andrew J. Brown. I will never be able to refer to you by anything other than your, like, full username. I'm sorry. These are the effects of meeting people on the internet. Let's see, should I halo that? I think I decided not to halo that. I think I did. Well, you know what? I can leave it haloed for now, and I can always go back and undo it. I can always go back and fill it in. So let me just think about that and see how it turns out. It might not be good. I may not need the frog to stand out that much from the shirt. Bueller says, I just realized that I've always loved the way you draw eyes, but ironically the character on my cover had no eyes. Yeah, I was talking about that with Derek at the signing. He was wondering if that might have contributed to the, well, I wouldn't say a bad reaction, but it was a very slow turnout that day. It was one of those mysterious retail days where just like nobody came to the store for no reason. I don't think that was it though. And those days just happen, and it was in the middle of COVID and all that. It's all good. I'm very pleased with that cover, with the Knock 'em Dead cover, and I'm very glad you liked it. It's still hanging on my closet right here in my studio. Do I have enough? Okay, I just had to make sure there was nothing secret over there. So I can take this off for a second and show you. It's still right there. Just hanging here, waiting for somebody to buy it. It's up for sale on ComicConArt.com, my art vendor. Let's see. Oh, did I have some questions? Joy T says, do you have a date for your Kickstarter? No, not yet. So what's going to happen is, first things first, I got to finish my sketchbook, which I've been working on rigorously today, and I'm aiming to have done this week. So I can, like, done, so that I can send it out to get it printed and everything. After that, I have the pre-pro work to do on the Kickstarter, and then I have to do the first 8 pages just to have, enough to pitch on the Kickstarter. And that may take a bit of time, depending on how much pre-pro I need to go with. But for the most part, I have everything planned out. I have, all the backers' tiers planned out, and, a rough sense of schedule once it actually gets started. So while I don't have an answer to your question, I can assure you it's not for lack of planning. It's just the nature of the execution. So I will definitely keep you guys posted as soon as I have any concrete dates or other information about my Kickstarter. It's been a long time in coming. I was dragging my feet on it, and Zach talked me into it because he's like that. I'm glad he did. Oh, Firehawk says, I just got my copy straight from the man Bueller. That's awesome. Firehawk says we were all Meath heads. It's catching. I'm all distracted now. What am I even doing over here? Okay, let me see. Let's do this. Get some of the texture in the fabric there. Yeah, compiling my sketchbook now. I'm having all kinds of reminiscences about everything I worked on this year. because, I include everything. I include, like, every commission and, like, cover thing I worked on, but also a lot of, I would say most of my warm-up sketches for the year as well. So just a broad range of stuff. The pages are in pretty good shape. I've got most of the pages compiled. I have a few problem ones. There's always some problem ones at the end that fall through the cracks and take some very creative problem solving, but I'll figure them out in the next few days and get that wrapped up and shipped out. The cover's going to take the most work, but the cover of those always takes a lot of work. I have my last one here. So here's last year's. And as you can see, these are all completely unrelated drawings. I had to figure out how I wanted to assemble just to create a nice shape. You see the nice sort of S shape that you want it to have. And I always want to have one element popping out just for interest. And you got to have a variety of complexities in each one of the squares. And this was very difficult working this in. I don't have book process work to feature in this year's sketchbook, which I'm actually going to be grateful for at this level, because this extra text was very difficult to work in to get the shadow just right so it popped and all that. So that will take a little bit of time. That usually takes more than a day getting that the cover to work, but I have some ideas and we'll figure it out in the process. I'll say it says, give us an old cover from Baby Clara. You mean those floppy old paper books that I read over last time? That would be funny. Just compiled all those weird potato characters. Ooh, loud sirens out there. Amma Jafari is in, says hello. Hello to you too. Let's see, what am I doing? What should I do? I'm gonna do the hands. And I should do the little hairs before I forget. You know what? I should fill in some of these blacks so I have a sense of what I'm looking at. Should I halo this? I just don't know. I'll find out. I didn't in the pencils, but the inks can be different. So let me see. It's the shadow from the leg. Shadows are everything. That's the only thing about this tool. If your finger touches the page, it takes a second for the ink to dry. So if your finger goes right back through it, you will spread it around. That's where you get like these little smudge marks from. And they don't show up in the final treatment if you treat your page properly, but still, it's irritating. Schwau Crow says, is that Rhiannon? I'm hearing, yeah, it's stuck in my head today. I don't know why. It's probably on a reel I watched earlier today or something. Besides, who doesn't love that song? There we go. Some little juices. All right, I'm going to fill in some of these blacks here. The hand is definitely far enough forward that I probably want to halo it. I did it again. You'd think I'd be better at this by now. That means we'd have to halo it there, and that would be very weird. All right, I'm going to halo this. Well, let me just fill them in. Let me fill them in and be sure I know what I'm dealing with. It's easy to undo. See, I'm providing my own music. Unconscious, weird background singing. I went to the post office twice today. That's a responsible use of my time, right? Had some stuff to ship that I had packed up on Saturday. I sold a sketchbook and Oh, one of my children's books. I just got my comps for this. This is the illustrations I did. Some of you will remember this. The illustrations I did last year. Where's... Remember some of these. These were fun. We're going to be doing another one of those this year. I'm not completely sure when yet. But it will be welcome money, because it'll probably be during my Kickstarter, which can be lean time. Don't want to forget to put the little fibers there. Let me do that now. Probably going to want to come back in with white anyway, before I forget. There. There's a lot of similar textures in this piece. The skin is a similar texture to the fabric, and the little hairs are similar texture to the little hairs on the fabric as well, so it's going to take a little bit of work to keep them separate in their execution, but so far I don't think it's been too much trouble. They're generally separate enough just spatially. Well, it's now the part of the stream where I get suddenly warm for no reason. Hang on a minute, I gotta take off my jacket. This happens like every time. I probably have more stage fright than I realize. My adrenaline gets up. Okay, a little bit down in here. That'll have a nice weight to it. I wasn't even planning on doing anything this week besides a sketchbook, and then I realized I needed something to ink for my live stream. And I figured since I was going to be redoing this little guy as a mini print anyway, I figured I'd jump ahead and do that. The nice thing about repenciling these sketch cards is that it's very minimal work. You pretty much are just tracing. You're just tracing, but deciding where to, let me show these again, where to add more detail per it being a bigger piece, if that makes sense. Firehawk says, from all of the love in the room. My social media following increases the temperature in here somehow. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past you guys. You guys seem like you can do anything. Since we broke 16,000 followers last night, dude, that was incredible. I need to keep doing those reels because I really think that's what's doing it. Plus, the holiday really didn't hurt. Just over New Year's, I kept just sort of checking. Like, I was just with family. We had a little gathering, and it was safe and all, and I just kept sort of checking because I noticed, like, my numbers were ramping up. And I got, like, a couple hundred followers on New Year's Day. And I figure it's just because on those holidays, on national holidays, people are just sort of chilling, poking around on their phones, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of, because what other reason can you have for getting several hundred followers a day? Ah, I almost threw this across the room. We got 45 is here. Hello. What was I turning this for? I was doing this. Where's the light on this one? Okay. Got to be mindful of the light. little sloppy. I might come back to it. We'll see how it fares. All right, let me look at that backwards. I'm almost definitely not keeping this halo anywhere except down here. But we will worry about that a little later. And for now, let us do these hands. Okay, I'm going to let the line break where the light is strongest. And let the line thicken where it turns away from the light. In here doesn't matter because this is on black. Do, 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 do. There we go. Joey T says, could you explain halo? So halo can be really complicated. A lot of people just avoid it in general because it can be used sloppily. And some people like abuse it. Like obviously it's not something you want to do all of the time. But there are a couple ways it can be really helpful if you want to sort of pop an object forward in space. Like for example, if you can see, I slightly haloed around the figure itself just to sort of bring it slightly forward from the background, just to sort of give it more of a 3D effect. And I will probably be haloing around the hand to help it come forward as well. Another way you can use it is if in instances of a line weight being important, like say there were a black shape behind his head here. That would be bad planning on my part, but sometimes, if you're in an interior page, there's nothing you can do about it. The composition of the scene requires there to be a black shape behind here. That would mean all this important line weight that is telling us things about the light and the shadow would be lost. So in order to not lose that, I would leave a gap. I would leave a halo so we don't lose that line weight information. And the third reason you can do that is to basically set up color holds for your colorist or for yourself, whoever you're working with. And what that means is it's just easier to select a separate area to colorize the line art. If you see in comics, if you're not familiar with what a color hold is, hold on, this is distracting me. It's where you take the line art itself and colorize it in order to make it feel farther away, sort of softer. And there are instances where, again, if there was a black shape behind him and I needed to keep it separate for the color hold specifically, I would just do that with a halo, if that makes sense. So those are sort of the three reasons. I think I said 3. But it can be a tricky thing to learn how to use. I have used it incorrectly many a time. I'm getting a hang of it, though. It's all the process. Oh, I got 45 bought a badge too, just now. Well, thank you so much. All of that goes to my grocery money. I want you to know how much I appreciate that. Instagram doesn't pay out until I get 100, though, I believe. I think. But I'm very nearly there. Just realized that sounded like begging. That's not how I meant it to sound. Anything is awesome, and I will be grateful for it whenever I get it. Be interesting to see if Instagram keeps this feature. Because I would certainly appreciate being able to make, something off of Instagram like other internet livers do. If YouTubers can make money, why can't I make money? That's what I say. Got a couple new people in. Where am I going with this? Got distracted with the little hairs. Yeah, but if you haven't seen the reel I made for the sketch card, go and check that out either right now or after the stream. It's entirely up to you. I can't tell you what to do. It was a fun one, though. Joey, did that explanation of halos make any sense? I don't know if I never know if I was clear or not. If I'm using too much weird made-up lingo. Yeah, very much so. Okay, good. Good to hear. Just because something makes sense in your head doesn't mean you can communicate it well. I've encountered that all too many times. We probably all have. Mike MJS Art says, what type and brand of printer do you use? Well, you know what? I'm right here. I may as well show you. I should probably make another post about that as well, because that's one I get plenty of questions about. So this is my printer. It is an Epson. It's 11 by 17 print bed. This is the Workforce 7710. I don't know if that is an outdated model yet. I think it's almost a year old. It's probably about a year old, so it may be an outdated model, but regardless, that basic type is a very good printer. I know a lot of artists rely on those. I certainly do. I've had several of them, and different generations of them. And they last a couple of years, and they're only a couple $100. You're not going to be out a whole lot of money investing in one of those. And there's nothing more valuable than an inkjet printer if you're doing this kind of art. There we go. Mike says, okay, thank you. You're very welcome. Hopefully that helped. It should be listed in my my tools highlight reel as well. I need to update that. There's all kinds of things in there I don't use anymore. Just trying to find the best angle on this. Can't let it break a little bit. There we go. That's nice. That came out good. Andrew J. Brown has audio now. Good. Good for you. You missed it. I was talking about you. All right, fill that in. All right, give me a second, folks. I need to get my charger. I always let my battery run too low before these things. You'd think I'd have figured it out by now, but apparently not. There we go. Tape this out of the way here. Where's some tape? Tape! Oh, there you are. Oops. All right, let's get back to this. Technical problems aside. This can be heavier. These thick little nails that Yodas in general tend to have. Speaking, of course, of all two of the Yodas we are familiar with. I know he has a name, don't at me. These little talons of theirs are surprisingly tricky. Just to get them looking natural. That's working pretty well, though, I think. Let's get some rendering on there. Get it chunky looking. There we are. His little fingers. His stumpy little fingers. Let's finish this here. And they cast a shadow too. Long enough and chunky enough. Let's see. I think that's working decently well. All right, finish this. This line weight doesn't matter because it's right on black. So just whatever, just the inside of it matters. Andrew J. Brown. Is there a Zach watching? I don't think so. He's working on a Hulk commission today, which has probably absorbed most of his attention. He's a busy gent. He doesn't usually stop in here for long. Go. Need some shapes to keep the fabric textural. As it sort of wraps into itself for the cuff here. All right, okay, let me get this shadow, this sort of corner turning shadow on the hand. I saw that Zach inked some Space Knight, and now it's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite things now, LOL. I remember that, the only thing I could think of is the cover. That was before I knew him, but it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, obviously. Let's see. Let's see. Well, do I want to do the outside of that yet? All right, I'm not going to worry about the outside yet because I really want to fill in this black just because adding the black always makes, sudden significant progress. Makes it feel like it's developing very quickly at that point. All right, a little bit of texture left in there. Andrew says, oh wait, how does it feel to have more time freed up for your Kickstarter? I mean, there's no such thing as time anymore. It's nice to not have like a traditional gig right now, like a page rate gig, because those pay chicken scratch and are very emotionally draining just because of the deadlines. But when you don't have one of those, then you have to figure out on your own how you're going to make money, which is why I'm pushing so hard to get the Kickstarter going. So, there's always a give and take. There is no real creative bliss until you're more financially independent instead of like just sort of scrambling to make your income, which is legitimate. And, most everyone goes through that early in their career. But there's not really a feeling of time being freed up. There's a feeling of time being more in a crunch than ever, if that makes sense. Joey T says, what new comics have you been reading? Oh, gosh. New comics? You got me in a corner here. I haven't read a new comic in a while. Again, I read Zach's Hellboy, but I think that's the newest comic I've read. Shortly before that, I was reading Black Hammer. I want to continue reading that, but I'm poor right now, and I don't want to buy anything else. And Black Hammer is amazing, though. If you all haven't read Black Hammer, I absolutely recommend it. It's a very, very interesting twist on the superhero genre within comics, and I don't even like superheroes that much. That's never been my particular cup of tea. But man, this is an entertaining book. I love Black Hammer. Hello from Mexico. Well, hello to you too. Or hola, sorry. Andrew said I should check out Black Hammer soon. I dig Jeff Lemire's stuff. Yeah, I've been really pleased with it. Joey T says I read the standard series, not the spin-offs. Yeah, I haven't read any of the spin-offs, just the main series. Oh, there was another one. Okay, what old comics do you love? Okay, here we go. Old comics. I love Akira. I love some of the more classic Hellboys are really beautiful. What other old comics do I love? I love Watchmen. Watchmen was actually the first, quote unquote, real comic I ever read the year I was 19. That's sort of when it started. And man, if you could survive Watchmen being the first comic that you read, I think you're good to go. Watchmen is kind of heavy. What else have I been reading? I know there's answers, but I'm drawing a blank now because I'm drawing, of course. What else is on my shelf there? I'm trying to envision the shelf that's in the other room. I like anything Becky Cloonan. I reread recently all the Alan Moore Swamp Things. Those are gorgeous. With Stephen Bissett, I believe. Real classically trippy Alan Moore stuff. But just beautiful. So literary. That's the magic of Alan Moore's. When he's not being just a crazy wizard person. He's so literary. Oh, I remember. I was also reading V for Vendetta. I don't think I've finished V for Vendetta yet. Shame on me. Yeah, I just finished volume 2 of Akira. I need to get volume 3. And by the way, Amazon used books is an amazing resource. That's where I get as many of my comics as I can. You can get them for I think I got the first volume of Akira for $8 on Amazon used books. From Hell is my favorite of his, I think, says Joey Teeth. I don't remember if I've gotten all the way through From Hell, but I love the, I'm familiar enough with all the backstory of Jack the Ripper and the way Alan Moore appropriated it, just through being a true crime hound, just knowing all the stories of well, this is what Alan Moore decided to go with, but this is the, what historians believe, and, this is what movies did, and so, comparing all the theories, I'm very familiar with the angles he chose to go with. I do need to read it, though. That's a big one. Somehow this turned into a conversation about Alan Moore. Not surprising. Okay, here we go. I'm going to do this. There we go. It's very dense, yes. It is a dense book. Oh, but of course if you want to talk about things I'm always reading. Wild Blue Yonder. Did I say Yonder? I can't even talk. Wild Blue Yonder by Zach Howard, of course. So incredible. See, there's some color holding. Her figure is just slightly softer in the background because the line is grayed out just a little bit. Hold on. If y'all haven't read this, by the way, like, come on. Hold on. Where's an explodey page? Yeah, like, he just killed it. Yeah, look up Wild Blue Yonder by Zach Howard. You won't be disappointed. You might be overwhelmed, but you won't be disappointed. Here we go. Eventually, people are going to realize when they ask me what I'm reading, I'm just going to keep saying the same things. It's, like I was saying earlier to Andrew, time and scheduling are a big issue in this line of work. And as much as I wish I had, the time and the resources to just read a whole lot of comics, it would probably be good for me and my, my general knowledge. That's just not always possible. And by always, I just mean it's just not often possible. I do need to be more disciplined about it. House 8 says, this feels like an artistic WeWork spot right now because I'm cranking out t-shirts at the basement shop, listening to your inking. Yeah, I wonder about your screen printing sometime. I hope that's all, or sometimes, I'm getting my words mixed. I hope that's all going well for you. I remember you making cool stuff. Let's see. Oh, excuse my snuffliness. All right, this needs to break a little bit. There we go. So that's going to get direct light contact. You see, like, the light hits directly on this curve. So the line is going to wash out a little bit, but as soon as it goes into shadow, it can get thick again. So that's sort of what I'm trying to adapt my style to these days. House 8 says, so far so good. Thank you for the kind words. Well, you're very welcome. We're all just sort of floundering out here on our own businesses. Well, not floundering, but it feels like flailing and floundering a lot of the time, especially in COVID. Man, I miss cons, and I never thought I would miss cons. gonna fill this one in, get the containment line on this sleeve just right. Well, I need to finish that wrap around. It's gonna need some more shadow on the underside of it, but for now, let's just get this filled in. Another reason I don't like to use this tool to fill in the spotted blacks is, like I was saying earlier, about how smudgy it can be. So I don't like to put large pools of it down, if that makes sense. The more I can limit the smudginess, the better. My comments aren't stacking. Sorry if you made a comment and I haven't responded to it yet, because they're not accumulating now for some reason. Or it might just be that nobody's commented. Either way. Someone drop something in the comments. Let me see if it works. Oh, okay, it looks like it's working. All right. Never mind. Was a fluke. Yeah, since the sleeve is away from the light and further forward, that's going to be the heaviest line weight, if that makes sense. Test, yes. The test worked. Yeah, it was just a weird little thing. I don't know why it did that. Sketch School says, hey, amazing work as usual. Thank you very much. Always good having you here. Oh, that's nice. That has nice weight to it. Nice dimension. All right, where should I go from here? Oh, I need to do the other hand. Handle this. What is even going on here? This janky toenail. Refuse to accept that this frog might not have perfect nails. Yeah, I'm gonna kill this this halo. It's not really contributing anything. He's not far enough forward in space to warrant it. Don't abuse halos. Yeah, that's much cleaner. There we go. And while I'm here, I should do the shadow under the toes just to complete it. Because this foot turned out really nice. I'm really happy with this foot. Sketchwell says Tombos are great to use. Yes, they are. They have a wonderful line weight, and they handle nicely. Nice ink saturation. go. It's a nice little shadow there. I want to do some of this. This I might halo because he's so far behind. But I'll do it manually afterwards. And this is an instance where, because of lighting, the line behind is allowed to be thicker than the line in front. Because you're getting, like, the top of the frog's leg is getting some light on it, where the far side of the thumb is getting much less light on it. So that's a heavier line, if that makes sense. But turning toward the light, it drops out pretty quickly. Go. Bit much, but I do think that still works. Sketchcool says, but that zebra brush pen, ooh-wee, can't wait to use it. I am excited for you. If you have not used one of these before, that is going to be a very fun day, because these are very satisfying to use. They can be a little tricky if you're not familiar with a traditional brush, but even then, they're pretty easy to use. I'm not excited about these fingers here. These ones gave me a little trouble. Just a weird angle to be doing fingers. Go. Okay, well, we've pretty much done an hour now, and I think we made some really cool progress on this. There were some really good conversations and questions this stream, you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for being part of the surprise 16,000 followers. Thank you, those of you that bought badges. That's very, very sweet of you. You're very kind and supportive, and I appreciate that a lot. It does mean a lot to me. And I think that is it. I think I'm going to go do my grocery shopping now. And I hope everyone stops by same time next week, and I'll see you then.